Hi everyone. We wanted to come to you and provide you with updates of what's going on in the world of immigration, specifically as it relates to couples. Today, I unfortunately do not have good news. And like I have in prior days, I hate having to be the one to deliver the bad news, but we know if you're going through an immigration process, it's extremely important to have the facts and have both good and bad news and know how it impacts your case. And so today I'll be talking about updates regarding public charge and furloughs and what the status is and what it means. And so before we jump into that news, I'd like to share with you who I am, if you're new to our YouTube channel, and who our firm is and who we represent. So I'm attorney Megan Pastrana from Corrado Pastrana, and our law firm is the immigration firm for couples. We're dedicated to assisting couples through the immigration process, whether it's adjustment of status and consular processing, fiancé visas, removal of conditions, and naturalization. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, we'd love to have you subscribe and sign up for alerts. We also have a Facebook group called Immigration for Couples. The link is below. And in our Immigration for Couples Facebook group, we have weekly chats and provide you with updates about what's going on in the world of immigration as it relates to couples. And our attorneys will be able to answer questions that you have and clarify any doubts you have about what's going on in immigration. And so let's go ahead and dive into the news. Again, I know it's not news you want to hear, it's bad news, but it's important to know what is going on in immigration and how it impacts your case. And so let's start with public charge. Public charge is the area of immigration law that says an immigrant cannot, the immigrant has to be self-sufficient, that they can't receive government benefits. And so that's always existed, and you can watch prior videos that we have on our YouTube channel and in our Facebook group regarding a more detailed background about public charge and how things have evolved over the past months. Public charge and the Trump administration had made changes to public charge in February 24th, 2020, creating additional hurdles, obstacles for immigrants to jump through and being able to complete their application to receive a green card. That includes additional forms, additional evidence, and additional questions. And so that had been in effect since February of 2020. We got good news on July 29th. The U.S. District Court of the Southern District of New York the judge made a decision that enjoined the Trump administration's changes in February of this year. And so that means that they paused those changes. So that meant that there were less forms that you had to fill out again, and things reverted back to how they were before the Trump administration changes. And so that was great news. We were all really excited about that. That meant that for individuals who are applying for adjustment of status, wouldn't have to file the I-944 Declaration of Self-Sufficiency. However, immigration appealed that decision, and a judge decided to stay that injunction. And so in legal terms, or in layman's terms rather, from the legal terms, that basically means that injunction, that pause is no longer in effect, but it is still in effect for New York, Connecticut, and Vermont, because those were some of the states that were part of bringing the lawsuit against immigration. So if you're living in New York, Connecticut, or Vermont, you are still getting to take the benefits of having that pause on the public charge changes from February 24th. So the confusion is right now, or it's not really confusion, but it just takes a few minutes for decisions from courts to get to USCIS's website, and so we call that implementation. So when courts make decisions or when changes happen in the law, USCIS immigration has to implement those changes. And so right now, if you go to the USCIS website, the I-944 Declaration of Self-Sufficiency isn't on the website, and they even have a disclaimer that says for adjustment of status applicants who are applying that form, you can either send that form with the application or not, but that it's not currently required. But unfortunately, now because of that decision, that stay of the injunction rather, it will be required again to file that I-944 in the documents. But again, we are waiting for implementation. We're waiting on more updates from USCIS. I'm sure they will be updating their website very soon. And so we'll be keeping a close watch on that, and we will be updating you as we know more. But unfortunately, that is the bad news in the realm of public charge. With regards to furloughs, we haven't heard a lot of news as to what's going on with the furloughs, it's been crickets. That is just, it's just the unfortunate truth. Immigration asked for $1.2 billion. And if they don't receive that $1.2 billion for them to be able to get out of debt and the problems that the USCIS is having, they're going to have to furlough 13,400 employees. And they have 20,000 employees, so that's a lot of people they're having to furlough, which would definitely cause additional backlogs and issues in immigration. And so we are hoping to get more information about that, but right now we know that Congress there was talks about providing a stimulus package or providing funding to USCIS, to immigration, to be able to help them to make it through the fiscal year and get back on track. That funding, part of that funding, they've had hearings and talks about how that funding would have to be repaid and how USCIS would be using the funding and have more oversight. But that funding has not been approved by Congress yet. So the HEALS Act was one of the stimulus packages that funding was also going to be included in that package for USCIS, for immigration. But that has basically been shut down. That's not something that's being considered the HEALS Act anymore. There are other bills. There's another bill. It's called HR 7508, but there just has not been a lot of support, and there really isn't a lot of talk. So really, the unfortunate news is there's not very much happening on that front. And if we don't get a decision, if Congress doesn't make a decision, if that funding isn't approved for USCIS, as of now, USCIS will be furloughing those 13,400 employees at the end of August. So we will keep a close watch on that as well. Hopefully, USCIS would extend that furlough date, but as of right now, we don't have any information or any good news, rather, about funding from Congress for USCIS or an extension of that furlough deadline. But again, we will keep you updated. Again, I hate to have to be the bearer of bad news, but it's important that you have all of the facts and know what's going on in the world of immigration. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we hope to see you on our Immigration for Couples Facebook group. Thanks.